Halloween, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
This is my lightsaber.
And we're off.
I mean, it's time. Okay, there we go. Now it's good.
She's actually court ordered to wear that helmet around the house.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we welcome you to our show.
Yeah.
Can you hear me with this on?
Yeah, I'm just wondering how Lindsay Strode and Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Oh, there's all sorts of ways.
As we scratch my head a little bit, trying to figure out what the heck is going on. There she is.
It's hot in there. It's getting hot in there. So take off all your clothes. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
We're here to talk about Halloween.
What?
Yeah.
The movies.
Ooh, and the holiday?
Ooh.
The movie and the holiday, yes.
Damn.
I like them both.
Double threat.
I got started in my loving of geeky shit through Star Wars. My dad raised me on it, so that's what started my shit. So this is kind of Michael approves.
Hell yeah.
Approves over there.
Hell yeah.
Dr. Cookies doesn't seem bothered by it.
Oh, absolutely. If you had not, if you'd shown up in like some Star Trek shit, we wouldn't be friends.
I know.
So it's kind of like,
that's why I love you.
You're in Star Wars stuff, and I expect it. It's like, I wonder what Keith's hair is going to look like for this podcast. Oh, it's going to look fucking bald. Like Lindsay's wearing Star Wars shit. I'm not going to be shocked because I know you.
Yeah. So Halloween Kills came out on Friday.
You don't say.
Yeah.
We should watch it.
And we all watched it.
We did?
We did.
Holy moly.
Yeah, it's almost like this was intentional.
So, that being said, Linz.
Yes?
Mike and I have been deep into the Halloween stuff for a while, and it's still kind of new to you as far as the whole story and the timelines and stuff, but you haven't been exposed to anything but 78, 2018, and this one.
Then John
correct?
Carpenter's shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The OG shit material, yeah.
Exactly.
So how do you like the story?
I love it.
Not being subjected to the ups and the downs that have come.
Of the other crap?
Yeah, because some are really good and some are
crap.
I like it a lot, and I'm just fine with not having seen the other ones.
We're still going to make you watch 3 at some point.
And 4 and 5.
I'll watch them. I don't have a problem with that, but I...
Oh, you'll watch them.
You will watch them.
You'll watch them.
Damn it.
So you've enjoyed it, though, right? Like, as far as the 3 that you've seen in order.
Yes.
Now, knowing that the first one came out in 78.
Yes.
Do you think people that waited 40 years for this, for the 2018 version, you think it paid off waiting that long for it?
I can answer that question.
Turn to negative town.
What do you think? Do you think that payoff was worth the 40-year? We did have the fillers between, but did you think it was the 2018 Halloween was good enough to be the sequel and wait for that?
I would say yes. If you cut out all
good enough, that's a different question.
All the crap in between,
and
you go from the first original movie to 2018, I think it was well worth it. It made more sense.
Yeah.
And it continued on the original story and not some other wild tangents. So I think it was well worth the wait.
And do you, Lindsay, someone who hasn't seen everything else, do you think that the story is good so far?
Yes. Yeah, like, because you asked him if he thought it was worth, if it was good enough to be worth the wait. And that's a different question. And I absolutely think yes.
I said you think it would have been worth the wait.
Yeah, but good enough.
Okay, do you think it was good enough
Yeah.
to have a
It was
40-year gap?
awesome. It was so good. I loved it. I don't know. I loved it.
I did too. I really enjoyed it. It like the Rob Zombie Halloweens, I cannot count those as part of this
What'd you
because,
hear, Mike?
well,
No, I was kind of pointing to
at
this
his Halloween.
Oh, okay.
little character right here who is
Mhm.
both in Rob Zombie's films and also Halloween 4
Are
and
we
5.
gonna just avoid talk? Well, I guess not.
No, this is just a quick thing. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
So for people like Mike and I who have been into it for a while, we at least got kind of a new take on it that isn't in the same timeline. It's its own,
Right.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we had that kind of filler. Halloween fans had that kind of filler.
Yeah.
But just, I really like the way that they're incorporating a lot from the other movies into 2018 and Halloween Kills. Like they're taking bits and pieces from all of it to create this condensed, more.
It makes everything congruent. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing a really good job with that. So I've enjoyed what's gone on
I think so
far.
too, for how much time was in between the first and second when you just do the John Carpenter stuff. Yeah, I thought they did an awesome job.
I did notice this, and I know the three of us, so we watched it together. We legitimately watched the first 10 minutes on FaceTime together. Just to experience it, see how we reacted the first 10 minutes. But as we were talking through it, I forgot who it was that mentioned it, but it made us all more aware of something that by the end of the movie it made sense, but that Michael was doing things out of character from what we'd previously seen as far as his skills went. It went from I'm just doing it because it doesn't matter to I'm really enjoying doing it and I want to
And is
torment
intrigued by
other
what
people.
he's doing. Yeah.
And I want other people to see what I've done and experience fear longer than I typically would.
There was more of a art to it, I guess, if you want to say. There was more, there was more of a display of things. I mean, I know obviously like in the original when what's his face gets knifed into the wall and he's stuck there hanging there. I mean, that's obviously a display of things, but that's not how it doesn't. I can't say that that's not how he intended it, but it certainly didn't feel like that was the intention. That's just what he was doing. Whereas in Halloween Kills, with that couple, that older man on the table, and he takes a knife and stabs it into him and kind of looks at it. And it was almost like he was kind of picking which knife too. And he'd take another one, do it again, and kind of. He seemed more like fascinated by what he was doing.
But yeah, back to the knife thing. So I've watched it another time.
I wanted to watch it another time, but I haven't yet.
And I took a couple of things away from it. And that scene where he keeps stabbing the guy in the back, the second time I watched, I didn't take it so much as he was enjoying it. But if you watch again, you'll see that he stabs and he looks. Then he goes back and takes another one. He stabs and he looks.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to figure something out.
He wants the right knife.
Yeah, that could be.
And then
that could have been. It didn't feel quite right.
Yeah, then he gets it, and he's like, and he doesn't stab him, and he walks off
with it. Yeah.
So he was just testing the knives out on a human being. But yeah, when you move past that kill onto, like, you look at the older couple, you look at the playground, you look at Big John and Little John, like he placed them. He set them up after their deaths.
Yeah.
He had her watch as
posed
he
them.
stabbed him over and over and over.
Right. Yep.
Her boyfriend on the stairs at the end,
Yeah.
he was torturing him. He wasn't trying to kill him because when he walked past him, he just
Oh, I know. It was a plaything, and it was
yeah
to screw
to
with
mess with
her
her,
more.
which he
It was
never
like a
he's never
doll.
done that before.
Yeah.
It's like
He's
before,
never fucked with his prey. It was like, I'm going to
Yeah.
kill you. You're dead. I'm out. This was more Jason Voorhees, like
yeah.
creative
Instead of-
kills out of pleasure.
Instead of being
Yeah.
focused on one thing to kill Lori, right?
Right.
And then anything standing in his way, he does all these like side kills. And it's like, I wonder,
Instead of being the one and done, like just get it done.
Yeah.
Just the kill. It's
See, he
there's
didn't.
more
You look
playing.
you look at the previous two, and he didn't play with anyone,
Right.
like
Yeah.
at all. And that's one of the things that when you look at your I'm gonna say 3 big franchise slasher guys, you've got Freddy, Jason, and Michael. Freddy obviously plays with them.
Yeah.
Like he knows he's gonna get them, so he's gonna play. You've got Jason, who is on a mission that doesn't have any single target in mind. It's just a general, like, you guys are the same type of people that killed me, that killed my mom, and I'm gonna keep it going, keep mom's work going. But Michael had one mission, and in the previous 2 movies before Kills, it was, if you're in my way or you're around the area that I'm trying to get to, I'm just gonna kill you. And just be on my way. And he evolved.
Yeah.
In this one. And it wasn't over the top, you know what I mean? But it was enough to go, that's not typical.
To be a bit out of character, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think in the first 2, the original in 2018, he always played with people kind of psychologically. I mean, because even just as they're running away or they're crawling away and he's just walking slowly to them, that's kind of screwing with playing with your dinner or whatever. But this was definitely different. It was because this was that was more psychological stuff. He was physically playing with them and positioning them, like you said, like he would put them into different rooms.
And the playground stands out the most.
Move them around from where in the road where he killed them, and to put them on the playground.
Well, no,
and
2 of them in the car.
On them too. Yeah, there
2
were
of them in the car.
Yeah, I said the road. Whatever.
Yeah, one shot herself outside the car.
Yeah.
And he put masks on them and brought them over into the playground and put them on the little merry-go-round thing.
So if you look at it as at the aspect of he was a kid, he was a child when he killed his sister, and then he was institutionalized. His adolescence was gone. He grew up in an institution where, as a child, he probably never mentally grew. And so although he grew as an adult, his capacity was of that of a child. And so if you look at 2018, even the guards who he ended up killing, one of them took a liking to him and called him Mikey. It's like, come on, Mikey. Treated him like a kid because that was what his thought process was.
And how his doctor was like, but that's different though too.
And so then I think that's why there's some sort of enjoyment now. He's out and about just killing anybody, going to the house, let's kill this couple.
Yeah. And they said that too. I forgot who it was that said it in Halloween Kills, but they said he's an 8-year-old trapped in a man's body with the mind of an animal.
Yes. Yeah. That's pretty accurate.
Oh.
Yeah. And I forgot who it was that said it, but someone did.
Too.
It was in the movie.
I don't remember where it was. But yeah.
I thought that was in 2018 movie.
It was in the 21. I think it was the sheriff.
Could be.
I think it was the sheriff that said it when they were outside. But
yeah.
there was an unexpected amount of social commentary in the movie as well. I thought, it's not like an aha moment that you have to be, intellectually on a different level to pick up on it. It's the way that Tommy created a mob,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely, yeah.
it speaks a lot to the way things are right now with, you look at cancel culture, you look at the bipartisan like division that we have in the country, things like
Mhm.
that, and we all react the same way. It's like, this is the mob I'm following. And
Everyone's quick to jump at something that supports their anger.
but that's the thing, is that no one, like you said, there's no one does it on their own. They wait to be told to do it. And you brought that up, that
Whew.
ooh, apple juice.
Yeah.
But you brought that up, that all of them would say, they would keep repeating each other, that evil dies tonight.
Yep. They start the
Everyone,
chant, and that's a
and
really common thing too.
and one person led them, and that's why Karen kept telling Tommy, "That's not him. You have to
That's
stop
not
him."
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the
Mhm.
second one person says, "There's Michael," the whole hospital loses their mind.
Yep.
Mass freaking hysteria.
And Lori gets her wound reopened. Karen
Yeah.
gets pushed to the ground.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're doing their
Mass
best.
hysteria.
That part was really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because Karen, you knew that man was developmentally disabled.
And that was him in the car. He
And
got in
he
a
was
wreck. He needed
terrified.
help.
Yeah,
Yep.
and he's being chased by all these people screaming at him. She tried so hard to save him, but people just, the second they determine yes about something and are fired up enough, and there's other people around them in the same mentality, they're just going to keep going. And when he was there in between those two doors, that she kind of was able to lock him into this area to hopefully keep himself safe. And he realizes he's not going to be okay, and he's just going to end it himself.
Yep.
As
I
opposed to
actually
being
started
beaten to
crying.
death.
I was just like, this is awful.
And even Karen told Tommy, she's like, "It's not him," and he's like, "It's
And
not." And she's like, "You
it
can
almost
stop
like it
this."
shook him out of a fog, because all of
Yeah,
a sudden
she was
he
like,
started looking around,
"Yeah."
and
She was
like
like,
he
And
"You got this."
realizing what he created.
what
Yeah.
he started. And
She told him, "You can stop this," and he didn't say
right.
nothing.
I
And
think
it's
he was
great.
in too much shock.
I
'Cause he didn't
don't
even
think it was shock.
realize.
I think he knew it was so out of control he couldn't.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
why it's like, it's so bad. How do you even stop that when it's become that big? Because then it takes on a life of its own.
That's a big factor with what they tried to do in this movie, I think. Not to that extent, because you
Right.
did see people helping each other.
Right.
But
But
to
in
the
essence, that was
extent,
what Tommy was trying to do. He was trying to, well,
he had good
like
intentions, but he
rounding up the
also,
troops to try to take him out. But it was, once you start that thing and other people come into it and their rage comes into it and whatever
Yeah.
else they're dealing with, like, it just becomes this whole other thing from what he originally kind of intended.
well, he's been living with that for 40 years, and on the same night,
Yep.
the other survivors from that night are all killed, and he discovers them.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot
That's
of
a huge
level-headed
right.
thought process in that.
That's a very good point too, because that's 40 years of pent up wanting justice.
And knowing he's back, and the only people in your life that shared that with you, that can connect with you and understand you, were all killed. Granted, he gets killed too. The only survivor from that original night are going to be Lori and cop guy. that was in the hospital with her.
Oh, Frank? Was that his
Yeah.
name? Frank, yeah.
Those are the only 2 survivors left.
I thought what's her name survived? The girl that
Oh,
Lori
Lindsay.
Lindsay. Lindsay
Lindsay.
survived.
So yeah, Lindsay's still here too.
Right.
So you have Lindsay,
That was
Lori.
very bizarre. Somehow he left her alone in the park, even though he was tinkering around with those bodies and doing, like, I don't know if she was able to hide from him. Maybe
was.
we'll kind of, maybe in the final one, they'll have a flashback of something with her. I don't know. I don't know how she managed that.
She hid under the bridge.
Right.
He went about the business over that way, and she didn't make a sound or move, just like most normal people wouldn't, until she heard Tommy's voice.
Yeah, I know, but
and she knew it was safe.
How many people in these movies hide and don't make a sound, and he still finds them?
That's true. That's true. But that added a
I
sense
always
of
want to be
realism
like
to
she's
this
in
too.
cahoots, but I don't think she is. I just
No.
Well, there was a moment there on that river edge where she's like holding her mouth because she doesn't want to breathe and make a noise.
Yeah.
And it's almost like he does hear her, and he turns his head at exactly where she's at.
Right.
But he does nothing to her. So I wonder why, because he had to have heard her. Like, was he tired out of killing the other people? And then
or does it go back to that sadistic side where he's like, how great would it be to make her watch me finish her friends off and play dolls with them?
Right.
Yeah, that's true too.
Because he did have that twisted aspect come into this too.
Yep.
And there were the kids there on the playground that they said he wants to play hide and seek with us. They said they were saying like he comes here and then he leaves, and then like was kind of trying to get them to do something and would leave and come back. So he
felt like he was trying to get them. He was trying to get them to leave, I think, by just scaring them. And then when they finally wouldn't, he was like, all right, cool, I'm going to kill this other fucking friend of yours.
Yeah.
Or maybe in his child mentality, he's okay with some children.
Well, see, I was wondering about that too, because I'm like, he's killing some kids and leaving others alone. I mean, when he left the baby, I understand that. I don't know why, because he's a psychotic killer, but that seemed to make sense.
He remembered Lori as a baby. That's why.
Yeah.
He remembered Lori as a baby?
That was when things were still good.
Yeah.
That was before he killed Judy.
The older sister.
Judith, yeah.
Lori's not his sister, though.
Yeah, she is.
See, that's what I thought, but then I was reading in this thing, and Judith was the sister.
Older sister,
yeah.
Right. Last name Myers.
Mm-hmm.
Lori's last name is Strode.
Adopted.
Because you find out she was adopted. Did they talk about that in 78? They didn't. They didn't talk about that until 2.
No, I was reading through stuff today, and I got super confused about that because I thought
so
it
they
was
left.
her brother.
Holy shit! They've left that. Have they left that out?
You know what? They did, didn't they? Because why did she get adopted?
Because I thought I got it wrong. Because I was like, I thought they were brother and sister.
They are.
And then when I was reading some other stuff and the notes and shit that I did, when they're talking about the first film, they're like, he breaks out, steals his psychiatrist's car, and goes back home. Lori catches his eye because she's taking the key to his childhood home to her dad, who is selling the house. And then he just kind of watches her all day, her and her friends at school. It doesn't say shit about them being related.
It doesn't until Halloween 2. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm going to have to rewatch.
I know. I got so confused with you guys when I was going over stuff.
Lori was a baby when all that happened.
Yeah.
And then, depending on whatever timeline you want to follow, Michael killed Judith.
Mm-hmm.
Mom killed herself shortly after that, or was killed, or however you want to, whatever story you want to look at. Mom's dead.
Okay, yeah.
And Lori was put up for foster care because of everything that happened.
Okay,
So
that seems vaguely familiar because
so
then
the
it was like,
Strodes adopted her.
right, because then it was a pattern repeating with Karen being adopted and taken away from Lori at 12 or something too.
Mm-hmm. So I need
might
to
be
find
wrong.
out if they left that out now.
Yeah, because it makes me wonder what actually happened to the parents in this timeline.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because what you're saying, as far as the mom offering herself, I might automatically think of Rob Zombie in his
Right.
movies. But I want to know why they gave her up for adoption. Did they die? Did they go away? Because at the end, in the beginning of
Yeah.
the first 7 minutes of Halloween, the original, he's killed his older sister. He goes outside. The parents come back home from being out at night, and
Yeah,
they
and they're,
take off
"Oh,
his
Michael."
mask, and they're like, "What'd you do, Michael?"
Mhm.
You know, and he's just standing there, and then the music plays.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
That's going to be an interesting thing to look at because
oh yeah,
if you have someone like Lindsay, I took for granted that that was just like,
unknown.
yeah, but on the same side of that token, if you have someone that didn't see any Spider-Man movies until this current run, they wouldn't know how he became Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Because
like
the
I thought I
origin
had it
story is
wrong
left
this
out.
whole time because from the beginning I thought, okay, that's her brother, you know, they're siblings. And then as I'm looking through things, I'm like, so he goes back home and it doesn't say he saw his sister at their childhood home. It's he saw Lori dropping off a key in his childhood home because her father was trying to sell the house. He was the realtor for the house or whatever.
Yeah.
And so then it's like so then it seemed to me like he had this fascination with her just because he spotted her at his house.
That's
I'm like, are they not related now? Like, what
that
the
was the sole reason he escaped.
to go after her?
Because she's the last one.
See, that's what I thought. And I was like, did he in the way this I don't need I should have looked at what thing I had looked at. I don't know if it was on IMDb or Wikipedia or what it was, but it made it sound more like he wanted to go home kind of thing. He went home and just happened to see her there. So for whatever reason, he was fascinated with her and kind of watched her throughout and her friends.
That's crazy.
Throughout
I'm
the
going to have
day.
to rewatch them all this week now.
I mean, there's so much things that are not there that it's left up to interpretation, and you know,
But that's a big part of the story.
Yeah, and we could also think, well, what if his doctor, whether it's Dr. Loomis or the doctor later on, what if they were providing him updates like, oh, here's your sister, here's a picture of her,
right? Because it
this is
seemed
what she
like
looks
they
like
just
now, and
were
so
way too close to him.
when he escapes and he goes back to the original house and he sees her, he's like, that's my sister. Now I'm going to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's like, well, isn't this perfect? I just show up here and she's here for the taking, just blah blah blah.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, another thing that we don't talk about that we always just take for granted though is that supernatural aspect of Michael that really hadn't been touched upon until the end of this one.
Right.
When she's talking about
at the end when Lori and it was also they did kind of touch upon the societal thing where they were like when Michael stands at the window, he's looking at himself. And then they showed all the characters, like they showed Karen looking into one of the hospital rooms, but catching her reflection and looking at herself.
There was a lot of reflection.
And other people doing it. Yeah. And talking about seeing the ugliness in ourselves and stuff. And that was
I'm still blown away that you didn't know that story because it hadn't been told in this run. That's huge. Like that's
like I thought I had it wrong this whole time. And then I was like, wait, so they're not related? And because I was trying to think frantically from Halloween Kills about when Karen's talking to her daughter and when Lori comes to that dinner that the night of that Halloween dance that Allison's supposed to go
Mhm.
to or whatever. It was like a graduation kind of dinner for her or something, and Lori comes in, and because when they talk about Michael, they always just like they would say his name or dance around even saying his name, but there was never any discussion like this is a relative. Like you need to forget Uncle Michael or whatever, you know?
Yeah. I think they
Uncle
purposely
Michael.
did that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that
So that was another thing that made me think I fucked up. I thought they were related. Like, what the shit is happening?
Yeah.
yeah, they absolutely are related, and that's where I'm going to explain something real quick, and it's not going into like discussing the timeline, but just
Oh
perspective
yeah, that's
on.
fine.
So you've got Halloween 1,
Mm-hmm.
Halloween 2. That's all Lori and Michael. 3 is the witch mask
Oh yeah,
out the
that weird
window.
shit. Yeah.
4 and 5 with Danielle Harris. She's his niece. You find out she's his niece.
Oh, okay.
Lori
Yeah.
got
I
married.
remember
They
that.
had a kid. They died. She was adopted just like Lori was.
Mm-hmm.
So she didn't know she was adopted. And Loomis finds out. Big deal, whatever. That's Michael's only living relative now. That's how he's still going. Is because they're still part of the bloodline.
Oh,
And then you
okay.
add that in with Karen being his niece
Right.
in this one,
Right.
in this run of it, but now we've got great niece in the mix, which had not happened in any of it. So you've got 3 generations of that bloodline
Right.
all together for him to end it.
Well, it was in 2018 or in Halloween Kills when Lori mentions, like you said, well, it must have been Halloween Kills then, how she mentions that with each kill or whatever, or every time he's killed, he gets stronger or something.
Yeah, something in that
And
dialogue
she
at the end
says
of it.
something like, he's alive because I'm alive.
Yeah.
I don't remember which film she says it in.
She didn't say he's alive because I'm alive. She said that she would. It was something about if he takes off her head while she's taking off his, so be it. But he's
Right.
never going to rest until one of them or both of them are dead.
I swear
And then,
she said something
but at
like,
the end of it,
"He's living because I'm still alive."
after the gang of whoever beat the shit out of him, and you think he's gone, and Karen stabs him in the neck and walks off. That's when you
Never
go
a
to the.
headshot. Never a headshot.
Mm-mm.
Made me nuts. I'm like,
She did.
seriously, people?
You know what? Karen did curb stomp his ass on the stairs, though. That was.
I did see that, and there was a swish. I swear his head flattened.
But Lori said something along the lines in her monologue about how he wasn't. She said she's seen him shot multiple times, stabbed,
Right.
whatever, and that he never goes down. Like, he's not human. And every time we think we've gotten him, he comes back different and stronger.
And stronger, yeah.
Yeah. And she
Yeah.
mentioned something about us, like him not being a man or not being all man.
Right.
Yeah.
And
That there's at least some sort of like influence, some sort of evil something or other that keeps him going, kind of thing.
It's the devil himself.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Did Mike tell you that we're going Big John, Little John for Halloween?
I love it. Who's gonna be who?
I'm Little John, obviously.
Well,
Obviously.
duh. Okay, yes. I love it.
Obviously.
I
No,
love
but
it.
when Big John, that's my kill of the series. I've got to be honest, because
Like, that was
arm up talking in the doorway, knife to the fucking armpit, and then
it
thumbs
was
in the eyes.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Yeah, that was it, dude.
Yeah.
That was
pretty
the
good.
one for me.
He's just
The-
talking, and then
the
right
dude
up
in the
here,
car?
it like lifts him up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then like, bleh, so all this crap's coming out. Then pulls him up by his freaking head, eyeballs. You know he's getting brain action in there too.
Oh no,
And then just
Oh, yeah.
he was prom night fingers deep in the
It
dude's
was-
eye sockets.
it was
Yeah.
colonoscopy of his brain through his
Yeah.
eyeballs.
Yeah.
Second
So-
to that would be the fluorescent light bulb to the woman's neck.
That was pretty rad. But
Yeah.
you notice
That
that's
was-
another one of those moments where he had her suffer
Yeah.
instead of ending.
Yes.
Yeah. Instead of ending it, like even after he got done putting the 5 knives in the back of
He was
Yeah.
just there.
Like when he put it, I mean
Like
that,
that.
I mean that you'd think done, but he
Yeah.
twisted it, and he did.
Yeah.
I swear it was carried out. At least I know he twisted it around. He did more than was necessary.
I'm surprised they didn't have it like a shot going upward at an angle where the tube is just the blood is coming out into the
Yeah.
tube and out, you know. You can hear it.
Yeah.
You can hear it kind of draining out. And she's just like just watching her husband getting stabbed over and over again.
I couldn't
Just
believe she was
FYI.
still alive. I mean, I know movie and everything, but I was like, there's no freaking way. But she's still there, like twitching and stuff. And I'm like, what?
I had a moment with that. I don't know if they were a couple, like if they were together or what.
I think they were
whatever.
a couple, yeah.
Take that part out of it, and I immediately went. I joke around about like Lindsay and me just being roommates and fucking not worrying about anything. I was like,
Yeah.
that is what it would be like when we're old. Like that is the two of us. I come downstairs talking about my CPAP smelling like fucking cigarettes, and she's playing with a drone that she keeps fucking up.
God.
And I'm already in
You
bed.
don't know how
And
to
she's
fly
like,
that shit.
she's
Give it
like,
to
the
me.
night is young, bitch. I'm like, it's 7 o'clock.
is
I've got to go
true.
to sleep. I was like, that's she and I as roommates. Like, I immediately went there with it, and then they died, and I was like, never mind, I don't want that at all.
Never mind. Never mind.
Like, never mind. Never mind.
But yeah, man, the kills in this one, like, apparently,
The fireman in the beginning, though, too.
That was kind of
People-
The
badass.
axe.
mhm.
Yeah.
Did
He's
you
just
know?
standing there, and the several shots from the one like through his shield with the blood on there, and he's still seeing stuff.
I didn't understand the
The dude
hose
that he
to the chest.
picked up and just like, I was like,
Yeah.
holy crap!
I didn't understand the hose to the chest. Like,
That
what's
dude's
that hose
an
gonna
idiot.
do? It wasn't even that much pressure.
I know. I was like,
You know,
normal
so-
people in a real actual fire, that shit's gonna, you're gonna go flying.
But not
So-
Mike Myers.
It's clearly not making an impact, and he still stands there and does it. Like
Do you-
this, like it'll change. Like he'll fall over eventually.
Go for the
You-
feet.
Do you know who had
Crossing
the
my fingers.
highest, which slasher had the highest kill count?
Jason Voorhees.
Do you know who took the first place spot after this movie?
Jason Voorhees.
Michael.
He did.
Michael surpassed, and Jason was at the top with 151. Michael was in second with 133.
And so now he's passed him. Wow.
You know what? The
Um,
people who made the
so
movie
Michael-
must have known the body count numbers, and they're like, "We're gonna
This is
pass
how it is.
Jason. We
I
need
think-
to up our kill counter. Ting, 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 ting.
Step, step, step.
It says right now,
Steppy, step, 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 step. Beep, 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 beep.
of the 30 people that were killed in the movie, 25 were killed by Myers.
Wow. Well, I mean,
Body-
that mob scene was, they have my top 3. When they think they have them and no one wants to take that final shot, including that deputy, and Mike was like, "Roop," out.
So angry. So angry.
I will tell you this, though.
And then it leads to the death of the love of Cookie's life. Because they're all idiots that can't freaking cut someone's head off.
I don't think she's dead.
Ooh. Okay. That's
Good luck,
interesting.
I
I was reading
on
an
the floor.
article from it was an interview with Judy Greer and the gal that played Allison
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking about their thoughts on like it asked them like if in the 2018 one did they ever think they'd be wearing the same clothes however many years later
3 years down the road.
and stuff like that. But they asked about Karen's death and what they thought about it, and they both agreed it sucked, but they both thought it was the right move, which I thought was interesting. And the only thing that it makes me think of, because, you know, this is just going to sound weird, but you guys know that, like, most of my ideas and stuff that I get is, like, either when I'm doing my hair or, like, when I'm showering or doing my makeup. So I'm showering and I have this big moment of, like, the next movie. And I'm like,
Oh,
how would it start? And I was just like, they show Allison and Lori having these flashes of remembering like Karen's funeral. And it's just like fuel for them to train like crazy together and whatever. Like, I don't know. You guys are like, no.
When you said train together, I immediately went to like a fucking like Rocky training montage in the 80s of like,
God, no.
trying to get bells, do what the tails,
No. But you know how Lori trained Karen, and
True.
it's like obviously Allison has faced him already.
True.
So a girl can handle herself, so grandma's gonna teach her some shit. Like,
you mean to blow your mind right now?
do it.
I've got it figured out already.
Ooh, then I don't know if I want to hear what you've
I've been wrong.
No. Say it.
So Karen is if Karen's dead.
Okay.
If Karen's dead, Lori and Michael are going to fight to the death, and it's going to be definitive. And we only have granddaughter left.
Oh yeah, they'll both be dead at the end.
What happens to granddaughter?
Adopted.
Being one that's left in the bloodline.
She goes crazy and starts shit. That's where you want to go with it, and that's how
that's where I think it could go. It could end with her like picking up the knife, and then you hear the music, you know, something like that. And it's not that far fetched because they're pulling in elements of the other movies. And someone that's on the wall.
It would be a way for them to keep making money with the franchise.
Well,
so
someone on the wall behind Michael right there actually played a very similar part in 4 and 5.
Yeah.
She had a connection with him, and actually she killed her adoptive mother.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Was put in a home.
Yes.
And she had visions when Michael would kill, like convulsions, like she was there as him doing it mentally.
Had some sort of like psychic
connection to him because of the bloodline.
The bloodline.
So if the bloodline, if it's a curse, it could be some kind of curse. Yeah. Bloodline. Well, in the other movies too, you've got the, what is it? The Fang or whatever mark.
What movies?
The man in the other Halloween movies, in like 4 and 5, you've got the man in black who shows up, and he's got that mark tattooed on him, and you find out Michael does too, and it's like Mark of the Fang or something like that. Forgot what it was, but it goes off of like an actual like group that knows this pure evil can only manifest itself in this bloodline of certain people.
It's like a line, and was it dots or? Oh man.
Huh.
Actually, hang on.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Oh yeah. I swear to God, I thought that was a
triangle coming off of it.
I thought that was one of the Friday the 13th movies.
No, and if like you think about how they put that in, we're picking out little bits and pieces of some of the other movies to bring into this timeline, and we've got 3 generations of that bloodline trying to kill that bloodline. If Michael is actually dead and that evil has to pass
Just
on to a
exists in
descendant,
the
she's the only
bloodline.
one left.
Yeah, interesting.
Just an idea. But
Yeah.
Ooh, which
Yeah.
that actually, but Michael wants to get, okay. Michael, you give your thought on what's going to happen. And then we'll go back to that because the whole evil in the bloodline thing goes to the question that I want to ask you guys and bring up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I see the movie opening up with Karen on the floor. The police show up, including that one sheriff that totally lost control of the crowd.
mm-hmm.
With the cowboy hat.
Yeah, and they're like, "Where's your mom?" She's like, "Oh, she just went upstairs." They go upstairs and they find her there.
Allison watched her go up there, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god!"
So they go up there and they find her in a heap of blood. I don't think she's dead. I think they'll and of course Michael leaves because I don't was that he leaves or something. I think they're gonna take Karen, like, oh, we need to take Karen to the hospital. So they go to do that, and somehow Michael's in the ambulance, maybe. Goes to the hospital, and of course, Lindsay, or not Lindsay, Laurie Strode, she sees her daughter being wheeled in, and they're trying to fight to keep her alive. And she's like, what the fuck? You know, she flips out.
Mm-hmm.
And then the stepdaughter comes in with her little broken leg or whatever, and she tells her grandma what happened. And so that lights a fire up in her ass. And so they just know that Michael's probably coming into the hospital. So they go in a lockdown mode, and Laurie's trying to come up with the different plans to get him in certain section, maybe. And somehow, way, shape, or form, I think it will definitely come down to Laurie and Michael fighting to the brutal end.
And both will die.
I would like to see Laurie just have some type of grenade and saying, all right, Michael, it's just me and you. And she hugs him and then lets it go off. I don't know. Kills them both. And then going on, the remaining bloodline being the daughter of Karen.
Well, Karen would be there too. So what if Karen actually went in the room to check on her daughter at the end of it, and she's got a knife?
But I just think that the niece or the daughter of Karen, she's just gonna pick up a knife and kill somebody, and then that's how it ends.
It's gonna be one of those two.
Continues, yeah.
But
like maybe her mom dies too. Her mom dies
maybe
on the
she
table.
kills her mom.
And so she's, her grandma died, her mom died, Michael is finally dead, but it's just she loses it. And so somebody tries to,
my dad, my boyfriend, my mom, my grandmother,
everybody's dead. So then she just
the
loses
world
it.
kind of thing, and then
so she starts killing, and then it ends like that.
I think it's going to end with the curse passing.
Yeah, I agree.
I really do, but it's going to be like you're not going to see it. You're going to be left assuming that's what happened. Not like so open that you don't think that's what happened.
So
but like you see
it walks away.
Yeah, with a knife in her hand or something.
It was big enough of a possibility that they could continue on the franchise. All right, so you guys are into this whole bloodline curse thing, which takes me to thoughts that I had going through my head and things that I wondered from the first film. Because I guess, I think I would have thought that anyways, but the psychology and stuff plays a part into it as well. But I was wondering after the first film, because my brain is like, why the hell is this 6-year-old kid so brutally murdering his sister? What happened to him in his childhood that made him like that? And so my brain's going in all those places, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I'm like, what if there was a prequel made to Halloween?
Yeah.
Would anyone be even interested in something like that? Because then it's like, okay, if they explain, like, okay, the abuse thing, maybe he was abused as a child or molested as a child or something. Does that take away from how creepy things are?
Yes.
Is it? See, that's what I was
And
thinking. And then,
here's
like, you
the thing.
empathize with him,
When you go into the backstory of him,
right?
Rob Zombie did that very well. That's one thing that I will say about his version of Halloween
Okay.
is that you understand what made Michael
Okay.
in that movie. Now, it's not part of everything, but it's you need to watch that one just to
Okay,
get.
I will.
Because my thing about that one, that Michael was 100% human as far as you knew throughout. There was no like supernatural whatever.
Right. I remember you saying that bit, yeah.
But there's one scene where I think was the most profound moment of going, this guy does not give a fuck about anyone or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in his room, and two of the orderlies come in with another one of the patients. I want to
know this before I watch it.
Oh, it doesn't give anything away. It's just a moment where you go, God damn. Like they are literally raping one of the other patients in Michael's room and trying to get him to pay attention and like making it a thing. Then one of them takes a mask off the wall that he's made, and that's when he stands up and kills everyone. And that's how he escapes. He could give a fuck about what was going on, but you took my mask.
Not that someone's wow. Okay.
And that's he also, with no hesitation, brutally kills the guard that has taken care of him his entire life.
Okay.
And you just go, fuck. Like that's the one thing about Rob Zombie's version that I think was done incredibly well for a different imagining of it. Personally. So that'd be worth watching. But yeah, I don't think there would be any backstory that would be worth it, because you're either going to get into that territory of real cheese,
right,
or
like
just
it's either gonna because that's what I kept going back and forth on. I'm like, either it could potentially be rad, like you felt the Rob Zombie thing, but I was like, because for a lot of people, they would think for someone to be, I mean, obviously some people are born wires crossed.
Right.
Not. And for some others, it's from extreme trauma and abuse and stuff. And I'm like, if that was the situation, then it's like the empathy with him. And then it's like, that takes the way, it's like, oh, then you have understanding. And it takes away from the horror factor of everything, which is the point.
That's exactly what happened to him in the Rob Zombie one.
Okay.
And that's between school, a dysfunctional household that was, mom was the only one that gave a shit about him, but she was still so dysfunctional that, so between being bullied at school and a home life like that,
right,
where his stepfather or mom's boyfriend or whatever was as bad to him as the kids at school were.
Right.
Sister didn't want to fuck with him.
Mm-hmm.
Mom was it.
Yeah, because I'm like, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, when you're trying to, the whole goal being to scare and terrify and be creeped out and horrified and stuff, if it's much more terrifying if he just had this regular old whatever childhood, no signs of or warnings of anything, and one day just up and stabs the hell out of his sister and is just like, whatever.
Maybe whatever was in him, the bloodlust got triggered.
And so
because that's where your bloodline curse shit comes in. I'm like, if there was a prequel, they could kind of delve into any sort of thing
but
like
that's
that
also what would make me skeptical.
Spoil it. Oh,
Exactly, because I don't think you can do that without being like super fucking cheese.
right.
So just having it be an idea is so much better than going to see a movie about like how in the 1300s in Salem that there was this curse of the thorn put on a bloodline, and there's always been like I'd just be like, that's Jason X to me. I'm done.
Okay, well, just a second. Mike, what do you think? Because
I was gonna say if there was a prequel, and it kind of knocks out what I was thinking as far as the ending of what the potential ending for the next movie would be. But if there was a prequel, it could be that Michael Myers was adopted himself, and that he was part of another family that was abusive, things going on, maybe murder, maybe drugs, all kinds of stuff. And before he could remember, something happened to that family, and so the Strode, or not Strodes, but Myers family, maybe they had an older daughter, but they were trying to have another kid and they just couldn't. So they're like, oh, let's adopt. So they adopt this boy who has
And his little sister.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden she gets pregnant somehow, finally, and so then she has a baby,
that's where
and so he's kind of out. He's not really part of the family. He's not really, and maybe he feels that. Maybe he just knows that this isn't my family, and then he just snaps, and that's when he kills his older sister. And then things start bowling down. So then that kind of wipes away the theory of it's in the family's blood, because he might not be a blood relative.
Right, yeah.
So this depends on how they do it, because if they do it as being a blood relative, I think it would be too cheesy. And I think it would be...
Yeah.
I don't think they could do it justice, I would say.
Right.
I think the ending of, like you said, Halloween Ends, it would put, hopefully, perspective on if it would be worth doing it or not.
Yeah.
However they decide to, because it's not just going to be like everything is done type of ending. There's going to be something.
Right. They have to leave it open for some sort of something that could possibly
depending on what that breadcrumb is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, because I was just like, what the hell, a 6-year-old kid? Like, what if there was a prequel? Would we even want one? So I just thought they would be an interesting thing to ask you guys, since you've seen all of the shit.
The other weird thing with that too, to go off on the Rob Zombie one, his sequel was awful. Like Halloween 2 was so bad, but what he did was he made Michael human, because after Halloween 1, Michael ends up he collapses in this random barn, and these people nurse him back to health. Like, so he's human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
who needs healing when in all these other ones it's like shot in the face 50 times, no problem.
But yeah, that's where I'm saying, like, Rob Zombie went with him being legit, just like a fucking human being that was all fucked up.
I'm sorry, that was hilarious, Mike.
Well, it's true. I mean, especially the first one.
That's how they. Yeah, it's like
Lori got him in the eye, and she was like all crying, and she's out there hugging the banister, and then you see him laying down. All of a sudden, he gets up.
That's always how they get up too. It's not like get my elbow and push myself up. It's from flat down to.
She stabbed him in the eye in the first one, right?
Yeah.
And then she shot him in both the eyes in the second one.
Yeah. Was it both eyes or one eye?
Both eyes, because remember the blood was coming down from.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I think that's what makes him creepier, is that you don't know. Like, Jason is fucking supernatural.
Like,
Freddy's supernatural.
Is what makes it creepier.
They're like, is this really just a man, or is there more to this? Because he does not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While we put Keith on timeout, we would like to thank all of you who bothered watching us again. And we hope you have badass Halloween, and you enjoy yourself, and you eat a lot of candy if you're able to. Some people can't eat candy, but you enjoy your shit this weekend. Yeah. And that you enjoyed our discussions of Halloween movies,
Can I
John
put my
Carpenter
hands
ones,
down?
and sort of sprinklings of the other ones.
Can I put my hands down?
Sprinklings of the other ones. Ta-ta!
Can I put my hands down?
No.